My boyfriend threw me a grand, public proposal, all to spite his ex-girlfriend. In a fury, she climbed to the rooftop of the very same building, threatening to jump. To calm her down, my new fiancé turned on me, humiliating me in front of everyone. If it weren't for you, she would never have threatened to jump. You almost made me lose her forever. He even allowed his friends to beat and kick me, to mock and degrade me, all for the sake of earning a smile from his ex. As I lay on the ground, my head bleeding, fading in and out of consciousness, his ex-girlfriend loomed over me, her face a mask of contempt. "Did you really think you were his true love?" she sneered. "If I hadn't broken up with him, you would never have even had a chance. Go take a good look in the mirror. He was only with you to make me jealous. You're nothing but a clown." In that moment, I finally understood my place. I chose to leave the city and build the life I truly wanted. But then, he appeared before me again, tears streaming down his face, begging for just one more chance. What was that? Your great, epic love story. It isn't a happy one? Today was the day Ethan, my boyfriend of 3 years, was supposed to propose to me. But right now, the woman held tenderly in his arms was not me, but his ex-girlfriend, Isabella. Isabella was sobbing, her tears like rain, her voice thick with accusation. "You did this on purpose," she cried. "You did it just to hurt me. You knew how much this would upset me, and you did it anyway. What would you have done if I had really jumped? You would have lost me for good. You would have regretted it for the rest of your life." Ethan's eyes were filled with a pained affection. He gently wiped the tears from her face, his voice a soft murmur. "As long as I'm here, I would never let anything happen to you," he soothed. "But you can't ever do this again. You knew I was just trying to get a reaction, but you still had to scare me like this. This rooftop is so high. If something had really happened, what would I have done?" The two of them were lost in their own world of tender emotion, their eyes locked on each other. My boyfriend, Ethan, hadn't spared me a single glance. I lowered my gaze to the diamond ring on my finger. It seemed to glitter with mockery, a testament to my own foolishness. Today, Ethan was supposed to propose to me in a beautiful rooftop garden. Just half an hour ago, he had been on one knee before me, his voice steady as he made his vows. "Clara, marry me. I will take care of you for the rest of my life. I'll never let you be wronged, and I'll never let you be sad. It's been 3 years, Clara. Today, I want to make you my wife." The moment Ethan slid the ring onto my finger, Isabella had burst from the crowd, running barefoot and wild-eyed toward the edge of the rooftop. Dressed in a flowing white dress, her hair whipped by the evening wind, she looked like a fragile, tragic heroine. Tears streamed down her face as she challenged Ethan. "Is this what you meant when you said you only had room for me in your heart? Ethan, I see now that you can be perfectly happy without me. So, goodbye, Ethan. I don't regret loving you." The next scene in this drama involved the man who had just become my fiancé making a passionate declaration of love to his ex-girlfriend. They reconciled, and just like that, I, the supposed leading lady, was demoted to the role of the fool. Isabella saw me looking down at the ring. Feigning anger, she pushed herself out of Ethan's embrace. "Get away from me. Don't touch me," she snapped. "Your engagement ring is still on someone else's hand, and you have the nerve to say you love me? You men and your silver tongues. You're all liars." Only then did Ethan seem to remember I was there. He shot me a look of annoyance, his eyes silently questioning why I hadn't already disappeared. "You know why I proposed," he said, his voice cold. "If you hadn't been giving me the silent treatment, I never would have orchestrated this whole thing. It's just a ring. If you like it so much, just have her give it back to you." "Give it back?" The word struck me like a physical blow. I looked at Ethan, my voice quiet but firm. "Then why don't you tell me, Ethan? Why did you propose to me? Everything you just said, about wanting to marry me, about protecting me for the rest of my life, was all of it a lie? Ethan, what did our 3 years together mean? For 3 years, I had made Ethan my entire world. I did anything he asked without question. This was the first time I had ever challenged him, and a flicker of shock crossed his face. It was quickly replaced by anger, as if he were offended that I dared to speak to him this way. He strode forward and seized my chin, his grip painfully tight. "Clara, who do you think you are?" he hissed. "You were nothing but a toy to keep me from being bored for the last 3 years. Did you really think you were my girlfriend? Today, Isabella almost jumped off this roof because of you, and you still have the audacity to question me?" He flung me aside with a vicious shove. Laughter and jeers from the crowd washed over me. Is this girl for real? She can't have seriously thought this proposal was for her. I'm not surprised. Our boy Ethan is so charming, it's easy for girls to get deluded. But no one can compare to Isabella. The second she shows up, everyone else has to step aside. Ethan had invited many of his closest friends to the proposal. In 3 years of dating, I had never met a single one. He had always told me he was a private person, that relationships were between 2 people and he didn't like grand displays. I had naively believed that today, by inviting all his friends, he was finally ready to formally introduce me into his life. But hearing them call her Isabella with such familiarity told a different story. It wasn't that he disliked grand gestures. It was that I wasn't the person worthy of them. At that thought, I lowered my head, took one last look at the diamond on my finger, and slid it off. I held it out to Isabella. "Since we've laid all the cards on the table, I don't think this belongs on my hand anymore," I said, my voice hollow. "You win, Isabella. Here, take back what's yours." I don't know if it was something I said that struck a nerve, or if she simply wanted to assert her dominance. She slapped the ring from my hand, sending it skittering across the marble floor. "What makes you think I would want this ring?" she spat. "It's been tainted by you. The very sight of it disgusts me. Clara, you're not even worthy of being my rival." The ring came to a stop at Ethan's feet. I stared at the unwanted diamond, and in its reflection I saw myself. Unwanted. "That's an interesting thing to say, Isabella," I replied, my voice dangerously calm. "A ring I've touched disgusts you. But the man I've been with for 3 years, you seem to like him just fine." Isabella was speechless, but my words had ignited Ethan's rage. He lunged forward and slapped me hard across the face. "Clara, you must have a death wish," he roared. "It seems I've been too good to you these past 3 years. You've forgotten your place. If you walk away quietly now, I might let you keep some dignity, let you continue to be my little pet. But you are far too disobedient. It seems you need to be taught a lesson." With that, he turned his back on me, casually picked up a glass of red wine, and took a sip. As soon as Ethan turned away, his friends closed in on me. A moment later, fists and feet rained down on my body. Ethan's deep voice floated over the chaos. "Don't worry, you won't kill her. Just take it. You made Isabella unhappy today. Consider this your apology to her. Clara, if you learn to be more obedient from now on, I'll go back to treating you as well as I did before." The sickening thud of their blows echoed in my ears. Someone grabbed a wine bottle from a table and smashed it over my head. A moment later, blood blurred my vision. A woman's voice shrieked. "Blood! Oh my God, there's blood!" The assault finally stopped. Through a crimson haze, I could vaguely see Isabella standing over me, her voice dripping with scorn. "Do you see the difference between us now? What do you have to compete with me? You were just a tool for Ethan to make me jealous, and you dared to put on airs in front of me. You're a clown, Clara. A pathetic little clown." I woke up in a hospital. My head was wrapped in thick gauze, and the only person by my side was my best friend, Lily. Seeing me awake, Lily let out a sigh of relief. "The doctor said you have a mild concussion. You'll need to stay for a few days. Thank God it's nothing more serious. You had me so worried. But it's okay now. Don't be scared. I'm here with you." When I didn't respond, Lily squeezed my hand, her expression full of sympathy. "I told you, Clara. Ethan was never a good boyfriend. Who dates someone for 3 years and never introduces them to their friends? He never saw you as his real girlfriend. But you were so naive. You believed every word he said. Now you know. It seems you had to learn the hard way." Lily continued to talk, and as I listened, tears began to slide from the corners of my eyes. It hurt. Everything hurt. Why did it hurt so much? And why wouldn't I have believed him? Ethan was the one who pulled me out of hell. 4 years ago, right after college, I stayed in the city of Silver Creek for a job. It was a 3-hour drive from my family's home. The stress of my new career left me feeling dejected and alone. For my birthday, my parents and younger brother, wanting to cheer me up, promised to drive down to celebrate with me. I waited with joyful anticipation, but the call I received wasn't from them. It was from the highway patrol. There had been a major car accident on the freeway. My father, my mother, and my little brother, none of them survived. After that, I fell into a severe depression. I couldn't sleep. The nights were endless. Eventually, the psychological pain manifested in debilitating physical symptoms. That's when I met Ethan. He was Silver Creek's most renowned and youngest psychologist. Under his care, with a full year of therapy and constant companionship, I gradually started to heal. But with healing came a deepening dependence on him. I knew the rule: a patient should never fall in love with their therapist. I fought to suppress my feelings. But on the day Ethan confessed his own feelings, he pulled me into a gentle embrace. You may be the patient, Clara, but I am not. I know your insecurities. I know you doubt the nature of your feelings for me, but I have no such doubts. I'm not the patient. I'm the doctor, and I am perfectly clear about what I feel for you. So please, Clara, trust me. I will protect you, and I will never, ever hurt you. That day, Ethan's eyes seemed to hold all the stars in the universe. They shone with a frightening intensity. And against all reason, I believed him. In that moment, it felt like grasping the last glimmer of light in a world of darkness. Once I held on, I couldn't bear to let go. This wasn't just a simple romance. It was my salvation. He was the last piece of driftwood I clung to in a raging sea. I covered my face with my hands and finally broke down, sobbing uncontrollably on the hospital bed. My sudden outburst startled Lily. After a moment, she wrapped her arms around me, patting my back gently, cooing as if to a child. It's going to be okay, Clara. It's going to be okay. Let it all out. It's better to cry it out. It's not your fault. Losing you is his loss. Your good days are coming. It's okay, Clara, it's okay. Perhaps it was the gentleness in Lily's voice, or perhaps I had simply cried myself out. Amidst my sobs, I drifted back to sleep. I was in the hospital for a full week. Ethan never came. When I was discharged, only Lily was there to pick me up. Where to now? She asked. I paused for a moment before answering. Take me to Ethan's place. I still have some things to get. Though we had been together for 3 years, we never officially lived together. But I often stayed over, so I had left some of my belongings at his apartment. When we arrived, Lily looked at me with concern. Do you want me to come up with you? I shook my head with a small smile. I'm just grabbing my things. I'll be fine. But as I pushed open the door, the sight that greeted me was a trail of discarded clothing strewn across the floor. The scene told me everything I needed to know about what had just happened. I glanced at the closed bedroom door and decided to wait in the living room. It wouldn't do to interrupt them, after all. I sat on the sofa, listening to the muffled sounds coming from the master bedroom, my heart a placid lake. Isabella's breathless moans were punctuated by her words. Your little girlfriend is still in the hospital, and you're this eager? Humph. If I hadn't shown up that day, would you have really married her? I guess it makes sense. She was with you for 3 years. She must hold some place in your heart. Ethan let out a low laugh, his voice raspy. Don't I know you by now? I knew you'd come. There was no way you'd let that happen. And I knew you were only pretending to be angry, pretending to jump, just to see if I still cared. Isabella, I'm a top psychologist. Do you really think I can't read your mind? But as long as it makes you happy, I'll do anything. I thought my heart couldn't break any further. But hearing their conversation felt like someone was carving a hole right through my chest, letting an icy wind howl through me, chilling me to the bone. He knew. He knew she was faking it. He knew it was all a performance. And still, he placed the blame on me, all to win a smile from her. It was true. In his eyes, I really was just a plaything. I don't know how long I sat there before the two of them emerged from the bedroom. Seeing me on the sofa, Ethan started, then his voice turned cold. What are you doing back? You've been discharged? You could have at least called. Are you trying to scare someone to death, sitting here in the dark? Well, since you're here, you can clean up the bedroom. Isabella and I are going out to dinner. Isabella stood beside him, her chin held high, her eyes glinting with triumph. As I watched them leave, their words from the bedroom echoed in my mind. He knew she was being manipulative, yet he still chose to hurt me for her entertainment. In a daze, I remembered Ethan's promise to me 3 years ago, when I was at my most vulnerable. I am a professional psychologist, he had said. I know exactly what you need and what you fear. I know you're afraid I'll abandon you, that if I do, you'll lose all hope to live. So, Clara, I will never leave you. Time will prove my words. He knew exactly what his deception would do to me, and he did it anyway. For 8 years, I had worn a small, carved good luck charm around my neck. It was a gift from my mother on my 18th birthday, and I had never taken it off. I looked down at the charm, clutching it in my hand, and made a decision. It's okay, Mom, I whispered. I'm going to be okay now. I stood up and walked into the master bedroom. 10 minutes later, I emerged with a suitcase. Before I left, I placed the key Ethan had given me on the coffee table in the living room. I pulled the door gently shut behind me. Ethan, thank you for the 3-year dream you wove. Ethan. Goodbye forever. I returned to my own small, rented apartment and began to pack. I had first come to Silver Creek for college. I stayed for a job after graduation. But I had built a life here because of Ethan. Now that all of that was gone, it was time to go home. I was adopted when I was 6 years old. My parents, unable to conceive for many years, brought me home from the orphanage. Even after my little brother was born, they never treated me with anything less than the love they gave their biological son. When I was little, neighbors would sometimes tease me, saying that now that my parents had a son of their own, they would send me back to the orphanage. But my mother would always pull me into her arms and shout back at those malicious people. Clara is our family's lucky star. She's the one who brought her little brother to us. She and her brother are both my children. If I ever hear you say such things in front of my daughter again, I'll tear your tongue out. But Mom, I wasn't a lucky star. I was a curse. If it weren't for me, your family of 3 would have had a much happier life. You wouldn't have all died. A curse like me should have stayed in the orphanage forever, never daring to hope for a family of my own. I finished packing and called a moving company, arranging for them to come the next day. Once I had decided to leave Silver Creek, there was no point in delaying. That evening, after a shower, I saw several missed calls from Ethan on my phone. I scoffed and blocked his number. The next morning, the moving company arrived. And right on their heels was Ethan. Seeing the movers carrying boxes out of my apartment, he grabbed my wrist. What is this? Where are you moving? Why didn't you answer my calls? Since when did you have such a temper? Come back with me. Stop this nonsense. I wrenched my arm free and gave him a derisive look. Go back with you? As what? Your girlfriend? Or your pet? Let it go, Ethan. We're adults. Can't you learn to part amicably? Go live happily ever after with your so-called true love. I'm going home. I'm done playing this game. A sneer twisted Ethan's face. Home? What home do you have? Aren't you an orphan? Aren't your adoptive parents dead? Clara, I know you better than anyone. You have nowhere else to go. I slapped him. The crack of my hand against his cheek echoed in the quiet hallway. He stumbled back, his head turned to the side. I had used all my strength, channeling all the pain and humiliation of the past few days into that single blow. "You bastard, Ethan!" I screamed. "So that's it? You knew I had nowhere to go, no one to depend on, and that's why you treated me like this? Ethan, you make me sick." A flicker of shame crossed his face. He stared at me for a long moment. Finally, his voice softened. "Clara, I shouldn't have said that. Don't do this. Come back with me. How will you survive without me? Come back. I'll give you anything you want, everything except the title of girlfriend." I was so disgusted I could barely speak. Before I could retort, one of the movers called out. "Miss, everything's loaded. We're ready to go." I ignored Ethan, walked to the truck, and pulled myself up into the passenger seat. Just before I closed the door, I threw one last sentence at him. "Ethan, if you don't want me to die, let me go." After returning to my hometown, I went back to the orphanage where I grew up and started volunteering. The director, Mama Elena, was getting older, and many of the daily tasks were becoming too much for her. I was happy to be back and help. Over the next 3 months, surrounded by the laughter of children, my emotional state began to stabilize. The people and events of Silver Creek became a distant memory. Lily called often, filling me in on her life, complaining about her idiot boss and annoying colleagues. But tonight, her voice on the phone was hesitant. "Clara, Ethan has been looking for you everywhere. For the past few months, he keeps showing up at my office, refusing to leave. I really don't know what to do anymore." I smiled sadly at her words. For 3 months, Lily had never once mentioned Ethan, knowing it would upset me. She had protected me, but she had her own life to live. I was grateful she had held out for so long. The next morning, I was in the courtyard hanging the children's bedsheets out to dry when I heard a little voice. "Who are you? Are you looking for someone?" It was Leo, a sweet 4-year-old boy who was always attached to my hip. I looked up from my work and saw who he was talking to. It was Ethan. Our eyes met. He strode towards me, his gaze sweeping over my face as if trying to memorize every detail. When he stood before me, his eyes were red-rimmed. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice choked with emotion. I patted a speck of dust off a bedsheet. "As you can see, I'm doing very well without you. Now that you've confirmed that, you can go back." My detached tone seemed to agitate him. He took an urgent step forward. "Clara, I miss you. I came here to take you back. I was wrong. I'll change. Please, just give me one more chance. Please?" His words were so absurd I had to laugh. I raised an eyebrow at him. "Ethan, what makes you think I would wait for you forever? Go back to what? To be your girlfriend? What about Isabella? Or should I go back to being your pet canary? So don't talk about missing me. We have nothing to do with each other anymore." He grabbed my hand, his voice desperate. "Clara, Isabella, and I broke up. I'm serious, I want to take you home. It was only after you left that I realized my feelings for Isabella were just an obsession with something I couldn't have. You're the one I want to be with, the one I want to treat right. I truly know I was wrong. Don't be so cruel. Please, just give me one more chance." I pulled my hand away, my gaze cold. "Ethan, we are over. I accept your apology, but I will never forgive you. I once loved you with all my heart. Now, I don't want to love you anymore. Go back." Large tears rolled down his cheeks, his voice breaking. "But you promised," he whispered. "You said you would always be with me. You said you didn't have a home, that when you were with me, you finally felt like you had a home. But you left. You don't want me anymore. You don't want our home." I looked at him and sighed internally. "But Ethan, you also promised you would never hurt me. You said you knew what I had been through, and so you would never lie to me, never abandon me. But you did. You hurt me, and you abandoned me. What's the point of saying all this now?" He didn't answer, only stood there, crying silently. I turned back to my laundry, refusing to look at him any longer. Go home, Ethan. Cherish what you have. The one you can't have isn't the best one, the one right in front of you is. Thank you for the time we had together, but I like the person I am now much more. Don't come looking for me again. Let's just end it here. He looked like he was about to say something else, but his phone rang, cutting him off. He answered, his voice sharp with irritation. Didn't I tell you? I don't want to hear about her. She and I are done. There was a pause. His face went pale. What? Isabella tried to kill herself? Which hospital? Wait for me. I'm on my way back. He hung up and rushed to say one last thing to me. Clara, wait for me. I'll be back. I watched him run off, a strange feeling settling over me. For a fleeting moment, I had almost believed he was sincere. But it was clear now that as long as Isabella existed, he would never be free of her. It was for the best. People like them deserved each other, destined to be entangled in a cycle of mutual torment for the rest of their lives. As for me, I wanted no part in it. I thought that would be the end of it. But perhaps seeing Ethan had stirred up old wounds. That night, I dreamed of my parents, my brother, Ethan, and Isabella. Their faces swirled together, all of them trying to tell me something I couldn't understand. I woke with a jolt, the old feelings of anxiety and despair washing over me. My chest was tight, and I gasped for air. My hands began to tremble uncontrollably. I knew what it was. The physical symptoms of my depression were back. I wrapped my arms around myself and began to sob. A few minutes later, the light in my room flicked on. Mama Elena, wearing a robe over her pajamas, rushed in. Seeing my state, she pulled me into her arms, stroking my back. My poor girl, you've suffered so much, she whispered. The world outside is full of cruel people, bullying our dear girl. It's okay now, it's okay. Let it all out. It's better to cry. I clung to her, my trembling slowly subsiding, though my sobs continued. He knew everything, I choked out. How could he hurt me like that if he knew? Mama Elena, is there something wrong with me? Is that why everyone leaves me? My parents and my brother don't want me, he doesn't want me. I must be a terrible person. Mama Elena gently interrupted me. She took the good luck charm from around my neck and pressed it against my cheek. I don't know about other people, but your parents loved you very, very much. If they knew that their deaths would cause you so much pain, how sad they would be. That day, all they wanted was to wish their precious daughter a happy birthday. A sharp pain lanced through my heart, and fresh tears fell onto the blanket. Mama Elena continued to soothe me. Our Clara is the best girl in the world. Even after being away from the orphanage for so many years, you still think of me and the children. Losing you is his loss. It has nothing to do with you. Don't punish yourself for someone else's mistakes. You have done so well. In that moment, it felt as though the heavy stone that had been pressing on my heart for so long was finally lifted. Love and trust. They were, and always would be, the best medicine. A few days later, an unwelcome visitor arrived at the orphanage. For the first time in 3 months, I saw Isabella. To avoid upsetting the children, I took her up to the third-floor balcony. Her eyes were like daggers, fixed on me with venomous hatred. What kind of spell have you cast on Ethan? She hissed. Ever since you left, he's been like a ghost. Even when I slit my wrists, he refused to come back to me. You bitch. Who do you think you are, trying to steal my man? My gaze fell to her wrist. It was wrapped in thick gauze. It seemed she had been serious this time. You should take better care of yourself, I said calmly. Ethan isn't the only man in the world. If you're so determined to hang on to him, you should be talking to him, not me. Ethan and I have broken up. Your problems with him have nothing to do with me. To my astonishment, Isabella suddenly dropped to her knees in front of me. Please, I'm begging you, give him back to me. He's all I have. It was my mistake to break up with him. If I hadn't, he never would have gotten with you in the first place. I regret it. I'll treat him right from now on, I promise. Please, just give him back to me? I was completely bewildered by her behavior. Ethan isn't an object. What do you mean, give him back? I told you, we are no longer together. Begging me is pointless. Whatever issues you two have are between you and him. It has nothing to do with me. Her expression shifted back to one of fierce aggression. What do you mean? I'm on my knees begging you, and you still refuse? Clara, are you trying to push me to my death? Her face grew more and more unhinged. I didn't want to waste any more time with her. I've said all I have to say. For the last time, Ethan and I have no relationship. Coming to me is useless. Whatever you have to say, go say it to Ethan. Before I could finish, Isabella shot up from the floor. She lunged at me, her hands clamping around my neck, and forced me backward toward the balcony railing. You should die. If you die, Ethan will stop thinking about you, she screamed. It's all your fault. He used to love me the most. I was the one he loved. If you die, he'll come back to me. He won't leave me. Her voice rose to a frantic shriek. I clawed at her hands, but in her crazed state, her strength was terrifying. Clara! Go to hell! With one final, guttural roar, she shoved me over the railing. The last thing I heard before the world went black was Isabella's wild, triumphant laughter. Ha 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 ha, Ethan is mine now. He's mine. When I woke up, Mama Elena was by my side. A searing pain shot through my right leg, and I couldn't move it. Mama Elena rushed to my side, gently holding me down. Don't move, dear. Your right leg is broken. It's in a cast. Thank God it was only the 3rd floor. It could have been much worse. Don't you worry. The police have taken that woman away. Attempted murder. She'll be in prison for a long time. I nodded, forcing a weak smile. I'm sorry for worrying you, Mama Elena. She gave me a scolding look, then glanced toward the door. Before you woke up, a man was sitting here with you the whole time. He just went out to get some food. He should be back soon. Is that the man you were talking about? If you don't want to see him, I'll ask him to leave. I looked toward the empty doorway. Yes, please, Mama Elena. I don't want to see him. She nodded in understanding and didn't ask any more questions. Perhaps because Isabella had nearly killed me, Ethan was uncharacteristically compliant. Knowing I didn't want to see him, he never entered my room. But he would sneak in late at night, thinking I was asleep, and whisper strange things. Tonight, he came in again, believing I was sound asleep. He rested his head on the back of my hand. I'm so sorry, Clara. His tears were hot. They felt like they were burning a hole in my skin. Clara, can you ever forgive me? No. Clara, I almost lost you forever. You already lost me. Clara, I'll change, I really will. I don't need you to. For every line he spoke, I answered in my heart. His voice broke into a sob. Clara, I'm begging you. Don't leave me. Let's get married, Clara. You already accepted my proposal, remember? From now on, I only want you. I'll never betray you again. A bitter sting filled my nose. I couldn't pretend to be asleep any longer. Ethan, don't you feel, even a little, like you're just bullying me? Is it because you know I'm soft-hearted that you hurt me like this, over and over again? Ethan, please, let me go. My voice broke the silence. He fell quiet, his tears the only sound in the room. I continued. The truth is, you don't love me, Ethan. He opened his mouth to protest, but I raised a hand to stop him. Why won't you admit it? You don't love me. Or maybe, you just don't know how to love. When you truly love someone, you want to protect them from pain. This act you're putting on now, it's not love. It's fear. You're afraid because you finally realized that I'm really gone. Even if I went back with you now, there would just be another Isabella, and another, wouldn't there? He whispered a denial. No, Clara, there wouldn't. I swear. I ignored him, continuing my own train of thought. You knew exactly what mattered most to me, what I feared the most, and you abandoned me anyway. I loved you too much. My love made you reckless. It made you believe I would never leave, and so you treated me however you pleased. I don't love you anymore. And you don't love me. That's the truth, isn't it, Ethan? He finally broke down completely, pulling me into his arms. No, Clara, it's not true, he sobbed. I love you. I love you so much. I just realized it too late. I was wrong. Please, Clara, don't be so cold to me. I'm begging you. I let my arms hang limply at my sides, finally giving up the argument. It was clear he would never understand. The moment he had made a choice between me and her, he had already lost me. It was New Year's Eve. Mama Elena, worried I was getting stir-crazy in my room, borrowed a wheelchair from a nurse to take me for a walk. The moment we left the room, I saw a folding cot set up in the hallway. Mama Elena sighed. I don't know where he got that. Since you don't want to see him, he just stays out here in the hallway, day and night. I don't understand him. Why didn't he act like this before? I smiled and looked back at her. You should go back, Mama Elena. Go be with the children. Tomorrow is a new year. They should celebrate with you. Let Ethan push me. I need to have a final talk with him. Ethan pushed my wheelchair to the hospital's central fountain. I stared up at the dark sky. Another New Year's Eve. But since the city had banned fireworks 2 years ago, I hadn't seen a sky full of them. The inky blackness made my thoughts drift back 3 years, to my first New Year's Eve with Ethan. He had set off a spectacular display of fireworks just for me. He stood beneath them, pointing at the cascading colors. Look, Clara. This is a shower of fireworks, just for you. One day, under a sky just like this, I'm going to propose to you. I'm going to make you my wife. Clara, do you believe me? His eyes were so beautiful then, reflecting the brilliant explosions of light. But later, whether it was because of the city's ban or because he no longer wanted to marry me, I never did get my firework proposal. I looked back at Ethan, who stood behind me, and smiled faintly. Ethan, on the day you proposed, I already knew. He stiffened, as if he knew what was coming. I continued, my voice soft. That proposal scene. I knew from the moment I saw it that I wasn't the leading lady. Because it was nothing like what you promised. But I still said yes. I said, I do. But Ethan, the star of the show that day wasn't me. And the leading lady of your life, that's not me either. Tears welled in Ethan's eyes, threatening to fall. He took a deep breath, his lips trembling before he could speak. Clara, please, say something more to me. I turned my gaze away from him, up towards the moon. Ethan, a new year is coming. We both deserve a better future. Thank you for the 3 years you gave me. I don't regret loving you. But Ethan, I will never forgive you. He slowly knelt in front of me and, just like he used to, gently stroked my hair. Okay, he whispered. It's okay if you don't forgive me. I won't bother you again. But Clara, there's one thing I need to tell you. I love you. I really, really love you. I nodded, finally letting my gaze rest on him. Your love came too late, Ethan. I don't need it anymore. Maybe you do love me. But it doesn't matter now. Mountain birds and ocean fish travel different paths. So do we. Ethan, goodbye forever.